My name is Ryan Harman. I'm the editor of Logistics Middle East, and I'm joined today by Andries, Retief, Chief Development Officer at DHL Supply Chain. Andries, how are you today?
Very well, thank you, Ryan. Good to be here.
Yeah, great to have you with us. And I suppose a great place to start is you've moved into this new role with DHL Supply Chain now, a more global position. Talk us through that transition and what the future looks like and your focus for the next couple of months and years.
Yeah, it's been about 8 weeks in the role, so officially as of the 1st of September. Super excited about it, and the role itself really is very much focused on growth. And that growth that we aim to achieve via customer-centric innovation, making sure that we provide solutions to our customers that are fit for purpose, best in class, and regional expansion. So that's also one of the reasons why I'm in the Middle East at the moment. Is for us, the Middle East is an absolutely key region in terms of the future growth that we see inside DHL Supply Chain. And it's also where our customers are asking us for investments, which we've recently made and announced of the 500 million euro investment earlier this year. And these are the type of projects and focuses that I will also have in the role going forward. So it's been a fast start, but it's been really exciting to also get to know our teams and our businesses better across the world.
Yeah, I can imagine. And you mentioned that 500 million euro investment that's being earmarked for the Middle East region. In terms of, you mentioned the huge growth potential here as well. Where is that growth actually coming from? And you mentioned the customers too. What are they looking for?
Yeah, I think firstly, to answer that question, you've got to almost look at the Middle East as a market holistically and say, given its geographical location, it's ideally positioned to really support trade flows from Asia via the Middle East into Africa, into Europe. And this is why we have also looked at the Middle East and decided to double down on our investments ahead of need in this market. Those investments specifically will be in 3 main areas. So we invest ahead of need into warehousing space. That is DHL Supply Chain, which is an organization that is mostly focused on warehousing and transport solutions for our customers. Having the right footprint in the right locations is absolutely critical.
Yeah.
So that investment in space ahead of need is super important. We then also invest into the technologies that are required to drive today's supply chains. This is automation, digitalization, and this helps us to give customers that best-in-class solution that they're looking for. And then the other investment is an investment in people. And we've recently announced Middle East and Africa as a dedicated region within DHL Supply Chain with its own leadership team. And part of that is also part of that investment that we make into people. We're a people's business. We make sure that we give our employees and the people that work for us at DHL the best access to training, to opportunities to develop, so that they can serve customers in the best way possible. So probably around those 3 areas, space, technology and people is where we will be focusing most of that investment.
Yeah, picking up on that side of things then, you mentioned the splitting of the region. It used to be Europe, Middle East, Africa.
Yeah.
Now you're focusing Middle East, Africa. What kind of difference do you think that will bring about?
Well, I think the Middle East and Africa focus is, again, it's demanded by the amount of dynamic investment that we see within this region. So for us, it was really a clear decision to take that we need to make that investment. And the results that we expect to see from that is an ability to serve customers better because we position a strong leadership team closer to them, which in turn we believe helps to drive their growth, our organizational growth at the same time. If you look at the recent trade statistics, Middle East is one of only 2 regions that have shown an upgrade in their trade forecast from a growth perspective, the other one being Central and South America. But that, again, just emphasizes why Middle East specifically is an area in which we wanted to invest and will continue to do so.
I think that's an interesting point as well, that the Middle East is a region that's really thriving right now in terms of, all the uncertainty that is happening. You have more of a global perspective now on what's going on. How is the region really ensuring that it's at the forefront of what's going on and staying ahead of other regions, if you look at, in terms of it's not struggling as perhaps some of the other ones are right now?
Yeah, well, I think you've got to also ask, why is that happening? And when we look at the willingness of governments in the Middle East to really partner with private companies like ourselves and create an environment which is pro-business, that in itself is already a good catalyst for growth for the Middle East specifically. And we are very open and willing to then also build those partnerships either with governments or with other large institutions in the Middle East, like we've recently done with Aramco, and we've announced already in 2023, in fact, the partnership with Aramco around the oil and energy field areas, where we are supporting them and the industry as a whole with logistics services. So like that example. But at the same time, I think the Middle East is uniquely positioned to then benefit from a lot of the best practices that we have globally. So the ability to import technologies and best-in-class practices and examples from other regions into the Middle East and then place those in an environment where you see exponential growth is a fantastic opportunity for us, and is, as I said already, is what we believe helps serve our customers also on their own growth journey.
Tying that then technology point in with that focus on customers and providing the best services possible, where are you seeing the biggest gains being made right now? What technology is driving that growth? You know, there's lots of the buzzwords. We talk about AI, we talk about automation, but what are you really seeing making a concrete difference right now?
I think you probably break that down into two, maybe three areas broadly. The ability to use analytics and data for purposes of predictive analytics is really important and really key in the world of supply chains. If we can anticipate and predict or forecast the supply chain flows, the way in which the supply chain will react to certain inputs, we really are able to create a much more efficient supply chain for customers, which optimizes cost, which reduces lead times, which improves service levels. So the idea around predictive analytics or data analytics as a broader topic is really key. At the same time, deploying technologies that make the lives of our people in our warehouses and in our operations easier. That's assisted picking robotics, that supports our employees in terms of efficiency, in terms of ergonomics, so that they can also focus their times and effort on more value-adding activities for customers. And taking that routine work out of their lives and replacing that with robotics in the warehouse is another area where we see real good opportunities for the Middle East, but for all of our markets globally, to leverage the use of technology.
I think that's the power of having that global group that you can see what works and implement it kind of worldwide. Coming back then to, you mentioned the oil and gas industry, obviously here you're a supporter of that. What other kind of segments though are you looking at in terms of capitalizing on in the coming years?
Yeah, so we've been very public about our investment and our commitment to specifically the life science and healthcare sector. And I think we've shared that also recently with the market with the acquisition of CryoPDP, which improves our capabilities to support clinical trials and be a specialty courier in the life science and healthcare sector. So we absolutely are doubling down on life science and healthcare. We see those supply chains get more complex, get more demanding, and they need more solutions from companies like ours, which are specialists in trying to simplify that complexity for customers. So life science and healthcare we absolutely see as an area of focus. The other one that's often talked about, and it's talked about obviously because it is very important, is e-commerce, and the ability to be able to serve customers also through either a dedicated e-commerce solution or what we call an omni-channel or multi-channel solutions in the markets, is something that we are also heavily investing in. To that extent, we have what we call the DHL Fulfillment Network, which is a network through which we can position products for customers close to the end user's location and operate that on a standard operating platform in a way that we can deploy very quickly and scale very quickly as customers look to grow. And that is another area where we are heavily investing. So broadly, I would say life science and healthcare and e-commerce, while taking into account that all the other sectors that we see there out there, automotive, technology, etc., they all have a very strong relevance also for the Middle East, and we continue to deploy our warehousing and our transportation solutions in that area.
The life science sector in general, I think, is an interesting one, especially here. You know, there is insane temperatures in summertime. It requires a bit more of a nuanced approach to what you do in that space. Have you seen that? Is there more thought being put into how we can make this work in a region like the Middle East compared to somewhere like Europe, for example?
Yeah, I think the life science and healthcare supply chain and the demands around the cold chain or the temperature control environment are very high, and rightly so. These are products that affect people's lives. They often do difference. They often make a very direct input or difference into someone's life on an operating table, in a chronic medication, etc. So those demands are very high, and they should be. I think in terms of how do we make sure that that integrity is kept in place, that we do through making the right investments into the facilities that we operate, into the transportation services that we provide, through the air conditioning and the various solutions from a cold room perspective that we need to put in place.
I think coming back as well to tie that into earlier, you're talking about investment in warehousing and warehousing space. I think that kind of industry and that perspective is getting very competitive now in the region. There's a lot of big players coming in looking to, invest in warehouses because they see it as a growth driver for the company moving forward. So how are you navigating that, the competition here in the region with other big companies coming in?
I think, to be honest, we welcome the fact that there's competition in the market. It keeps us honest, it keeps us challenged to make sure that we continue to innovate. But it's also a sign of a market that continues to grow, and a market that continues to demand this level of investment. And we are happy to then be a thought leader and be a pioneer in that market. Through leveraging our global best practices, our global capability, our scale into the Middle East, but also by reminding ourselves and by making sure that we continue to think about what is it that the local market needs to be relevant. So yes, I think there's many competitors out there, but from our perspective, we're very much focused on making sure that we continue to be innovative, we continue to use technology, we continue to get our people to be in the best space possible to support that growth, and then make sure that we continue to lead the industry.
So then, looking ahead to the next 5 years, both for the region and globally, what will success look like for you in this new role as the Chief Development Officer for DHL Supply Chain?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of what I said at the start, but the focus around enabling growth for our customers is important. Making sure that we put that customer experience at the forefront of the way in which we work. And not just our customer experience, but also the experience of our customer's customer, the end user of the product that we handle. Making sure that experience is better than it is today is absolutely part of the success criteria. I think making sure that we've developed and deployed our best-in-class solutions from across the world consistently into all of our markets, specifically then for purposes of today also into the Middle East, is a key criteria, because this also enables our organizational growth, and clearly we as an organization have set out some ambitious growth targets to the market, and we believe that they are possible and they're within reach. So we'll continue to focus on delivering that. And I think just to add to that, while we do see absolutely still the relevance and the importance of globalization, we also do see the world moving into a direction where there's more regionalization. And again, that is why for Middle East and Africa, we've made that investment, because we do understand the importance of having a strong regional footprint, especially in a growth market, reducing the amount of long-haul sourcing that customers have to do in a market like this. And part of my focus for the next 3 to 5 years is to make sure that we bring that experience to our customers in this market.
That point on regionalization, is that something you see that's a trend, or you think it's something that's here to stay?
I think time will tell. It's been a very dynamic world of supply chains over the last few years, but certainly as we see supply chains evolve to the point where you now have manufacturing from multiple locations, where in the past we would have probably only had manufacturing from one single source. As we have customer needs increase for reducing lead times, which then means less long-haul sourcing, more omni-channel sourcing, that naturally leads to a world where you have more regionalization. And I don't think it comes at the expense of globalization. I just think it is another dimension that you have in the world of supply chains, which adds to that complexity I spoke about earlier. And that's then where we deploy the solutions that we have to try and make customers' lives simpler through the various products and services that we have.
A good place to leave things. Andries, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.